Hey guys, Ben here and welcome back to another video on Superman Lois Season 4. Today we're going to be talking about the mid-season trailer, aka the kind of extended trailer for the rest of the season. We got a lot of footage for the upcoming episodes, that's Episode 5, Episode 6 and beyond. So if you do go on to enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos later this year. So we broke down Episode 5's trailer yesterday, go check that out, it's up on the channel right now. And as I mentioned in that video, I needed to break down this new mid-season trailer that they just released as well. I love what the CW is doing and how much promotion and how much time and effort they're actually putting into promoting the back half of Superman Lois. So I really appreciate this mid-season trailer because it's a minute long. We got a lot of new footage, and so we're going to break it down in this video bit by bit as we go along, talking about what it could mean for the future and everything surrounding that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the trailer breakdown. So we start the mid-season trailer with this look of Superman in space. I'm not sure if this is a new or an old shot. Again, if I make any mistakes to do with that, I apologize, because there are sometimes a lot of very similar shots and it's kind of hard to tell unless you're rewatching all the episodes 24/7. So we got this close-up of Clark in space and he is monitoring the Earth below. So I guess he is listening in, trying to figure out where Lex is or where his certain target is. Maybe it's Doomsday that he's going after. And so that's how we start the trailer. It's a great shot, and it's nice to see him out in space once again, obviously after the terrible situation that he went through at the start of the season. Now let's move on to the next shot, and Clark says, "I just didn't think I was going to get old." And then Lois replies, "Welcome to being human." So Clark is really feeling the consequences of his death and the fact that he has got a human heart at the end of the day, even if it is slightly different from a normal human heart due to being injected by General Lane. I don't think he is half Kryptonian, half human now, even though you could argue that. I think he is still fully Kryptonian, but his heart is definitely going to pose a challenge. So there is going to be some way that they're going to work around this, but it's going to be a challenge and an obstacle for him to overcome. It's something new, something different, and potentially he could be getting old, as he says in this shot. And maybe we'll start to see some effects. Maybe you will see like a few wrinkles or something, or maybe a grey hair that he's never had before. And you're going to start to see that, and he's going to feel like that. And I like Lois's reply, "Welcome to being human," because obviously everyone else around him, apart from his kids, are used to that. And so let's move on to the next shot after this. Lex says, "I have a plan and I know exactly how this will end." So he is dead set on his mission. He has planned everything out. And with the return of Superman, that's obviously thrown a big spanner in the works. But he is dead set on destroying Lois's life and taking out Superman once again. So moving on to the next shot after this. This is the shot that's got everyone talking about, and it's insane. Like, look at this. This is the classic Superman shirt rip, but if you look at his suit and the way it's color graded, it makes it look like it's black, right? So that is number one, an exciting thing for fans of the reign of the Superman, because normally Superman would come back with a black suit. And I don't think his suit is black. I think this is strictly the color grading. However, we did see a new suit at the end of last episode, and I didn't really get to talk about it because, quite honestly, I didn't really notice. It's quite similar. There is a few changes here and there. When he returned in the kind of flame when he was helping Jonathan and he was taking out one of Lex's henchmen. So that shot is also in this trailer, in case you needed a recap of that. However, that was an iconic moment, so you don't need reminding of that, but it's cool to rewatch. And his suit is definitely dark navy. It seems a bit darker than before, which I think is an interesting take, and maybe it's a little bit of inspiration from that black suit, I don't know. But he is in some sort of stadium. I'm guessing this is a sports ground, and he's obviously noticed something and he's done the classic shirt rip, and it's just a great moment for the fans because obviously we all get excited when we see stuff like this. And as he approaches the camera, you just see the House of L logo in the middle of the screen. So let's move on to the shot after this. We got a shot of Superman flying through the sky. This is one of the shots I have no idea if we've seen before. It feels familiar. Forgive me if this is a shot that we've already talked about in the past and we've seen in another episode, so I'm just going to skip beyond this. but that is one that I wanted to include just in case this is actually a new shot. But moving on from that, we got the return of Doomsday, and he is here staring right into the camera, and you can see just slightly on the right there is someone standing there, so it's probably Lex, and he's probably giving him instructions to go after Superman once again, because obviously he's found out that Superman is alive, and Doomsday, more likely than not, will be going right after Superman once Lex finds out straight away. And I think you're going to get a repeat of that big fight, but I think Superman is going to have to be smart about it. As I said in yesterday's video, they're going to have to figure out a way to defeat Doomsday. Maybe they can get through to him if there is anything left inside Bizarro, any humanity at all. And so there is a possibility that we could be seeing the defeat of Doomsday in the next couple of episodes, because Lex is going to take it into his own hands, as we see later in this trailer when he suits up in his Lexo-suit. And talking of Lex, the next shot is of Lex, and he is giving a deadly stare, and I presume he's in the hotel looking out from the window across the street at Lois. But this is probably early on in the next episode or the episode afterwards, because we know at one point Lex is going to be shaving his beard. Obviously that's been a big part of his character, and so that's going to give us a rough idea of what episodes that we're looking at, because in the next shot we've got Superman staring off and facing down Lex as Lex says, "I am coming after everything you have ever loved." And this is a great shot. You've got literally Superman right in the face of Lex, and he is not afraid. He is finally showing Lex who is the boss in the situation, and Lex is definitely not scared of Superman, and we've seen that so far. But he is all suited up in this next shot, and it's just a reverse of Superman, and you can see that he doesn't have the beard or the mustache anymore, so that kind of gruff look is gone. This is more of a classic Lex Luthor look that we're used to from the comics, and also in the many iterations of Lex that we've seen before. I have to say Michael Cudlitz is definitely killing it right now as Lex, so I'm really looking forward to seeing what else he's got to offer. But this is presumably in the latter half of the final episodes, so whether this be episode 6, episode 7 is probably my best guess, or it could even be as far back as episode 8. But presumably this is all going to be ramping up, and you can tell by the trailer the stakes are extremely high. Yes, it's maybe not as dark as the start of the season with the death of Superman, with the death of General Lane, but it's going to be really high stakes throughout this whole rest of the season, because Lois and the family are all at great risk. Obviously Lex has access to kryptonite and potentially might have Superman's heart still if that was a fake heart, so he's definitely going to have one or two tricks up his sleeve as his final plans come into place. And this is when we cut to Lois, Clark and the family with the two boys, and they say we're going to get through everything together as a family. Obviously that is one of the main focuses of the show, so it makes sense, and they're really going to have to consider staying here or actually going to hide out. I mentioned this in my last video, but surely they've got to go to the fortress for a while, somewhere where Lex isn't able to find them, because just having Lois at home by herself is extremely risky. Yes, the boys can hear if she is being attacked, but they can't do anything if Doomsday shows up to the door and grabs Lois. Like, that is a terrible situation, so I think they really have to consider this, and I think they will. Although we know how strong Lois is, and she's definitely going to want to try and stick and stay to her guns and not be scared off by Lex, and that's the whole thing. Lex is trying to get to Lois by going through the boys and going through Superman. But let's move on to the next shot. So we've seen this shot in a previous trailer. It's of Lex in his Lexo-suit, and he's going to be using it once he is clean shaven and everything. So I presume this could be episode 6, episode 7, as I mentioned before. And this cuts to the next shot where Lex is inside the Lexo-suit. I really like the color scheme here. This gives a good homage to the classic Lex Luthor colors with the pinky purple and the greens, and that gives a different effect than the Natalie and John Henry Irons Lexo-suits that they wear, and this is obviously very specific to Lex. I kind of wish they colored his suit green and purple like in the comics. That would have been really cool. Maybe at one point this season we'll get to see that. But he says, "This time I want to watch Superman die with my own eyes." So as I mentioned earlier, this leads me to believe that Doomsday might have been taken out of the picture by the time that he suits up in his Lexo-suit, because I don't think he's really that willing to do this unless he's on his final straw and he's like, okay guys, I've just got to do this. I don't care about myself. I'm gonna face Superman head on and use the technology that I've got to use it in my favor. And so we get this shot of Clark and Lois, and they're at the barn. Obviously, we've seen this shot. This is probably in episode 5. I talked about this yesterday, but I think it's a good representation of how dire everything is. And talking about that, we got the final shot where Lex says to Lois, "Goodbye, Lois. This will all be over soon enough." And so he's standing in the middle of Smallville, about to go in the hotel. He is dressed up all fancy. We've previously seen him shaven and dressed fancy, like the kind of classic Lex Luthor look, and I think he looks great. And it's interesting that he is saying, "Goodbye, Lois, this will all be over soon enough," which is a very ominous message to say, I'm gonna kill everyone that you know, that you love. Your life is going to be over soon enough. So that's just crazy. So I'm really looking forward to everything that's going down. I think this was a great mid-season trailer to hype up the fans and to get us excited for episode 5, episode 6, 7, 8, 9, and the series finale, episode 10. So everything so far has been really exciting, and I'm definitely hyped for every episode that is coming each week. Again, episode 5 will be this Monday. Of course, I'll have my review and breakdown out after the episode ends. And a big shout out to everyone that's been watching all the videos, supporting, leaving likes, also leaving comments and interacting with my videos, because they've been doing well and I really appreciate that. So for now, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to leave a like and a comment. Also subscribe and turn on notifications if you're new around here so you don't miss any videos. Right now we're uploading daily, so stick around for the next video that's coming tomorrow. That should be a Q&A video to do with the rest of the season for Superman and Lois. And for now, you can click on the top right corner of the screen to watch my latest video, and I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.